Hello, heroes and villains. Welcome to Multiverse. I'm with our friend Nix the Black Mask, although here he's Mr. Frost Nix because he's on the hero side. Poor little guy.
I'm undercover. Don't mind
Okay,
me.
that works. Today we'll take a look at the Legends. There's a Legends PvE bonus this week. Basically, whenever you run a mission, it counts for like 10 times on the feat counter. So today we'll take a look at Legends PvE. I understand that a lot of you guys probably never tried Legends PvE. It doesn't seem to be that popular, and I can sort of understand why. There's because you have to earn also legend characters to be able to play Legends PvE. Although you earn when you play Legends PvE, you earn marks of legends, and I forget that you earn also currency. Let's take a quick look.
Um, no, I don't think you earn marks of valor. No, it's just the check off to your list as to
It's
what you
all
need for your feats and stuff
okay.
like that. But I think it's other than just the 5 marks of legend. I think that's about all you get.
So it's only the marks of legends and whatever counts for your feat. So and also today for this week, they've activated all the Legends PvE map. So you can see League of Assassins, Smallville, Bloodhaven. There is one map that is missing. There's the Trigon. I forget the Trigon alert. Normally you should be able to play it with Legends characters, but there seems to be some issues with that Legend map.
The issue with Trigon's prison is after you beat up the second boss, there's some rocks that you have to move. And in order for you to get to those rocks to get through your passage that you're trying to go to, you have to pick them up and move along as accordingly. Well, the issue is when people pick those rocks up, they instantly disconnect. So myself and plenty of my friends that I've worked with, they all have the same issue. So like we see this numerous times throughout the Trigon's prison, and that can be very frustrating. So it disconnects you, and then you have to start all pretty much going back right at the beginning. It's a giant mess. It can disconnect your entire group. So that's why they had to remove it.
So normally for Legends PvE, you have I think it's two. You have access to one or two missions. I forget.
Oh, it's one. Well,
That's one.
technically, it's also the Legends practice too.
Well, I think on reset day you have access to like the missions from the previous week and the mission from the next week. Isn't there something like that?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So it goes for an entire week. So let's say, for example, it's Area 51. So after Area 51 is Bloodhaven. So what will happen is Area 51 will run for a full week. After that, when it comes to that last day, or the last couple of days, Bloodhaven will pop up. So you'll have access to both maps. And sometimes that can work to your benefit because they also give off a free Legends character for the week. And that character might benefit you towards your feats or towards your checklists that you're trying to accomplish or your team ups. So that can really be beneficial. So on those last couple of days, yes, there's 2 maps that show up.
So just to cover the basis, so basically you have access to Legends missions through the Events tab. Again, normally it's one or two missions, but for this week, it's all the missions except the Trigon mission. There's also Legends PvP that you can use your Legend character for. In Legends PvP, as you can see, there's a lot of maps. Sadly, so for some of the maps, like the 8 versus 8, uh, almost no one plays those anymore. So it's going to be challenging to be able to get first getting one group of 8 players is challenging enough. Trying to get 2 groups so that you can play against each other, that's even more challenging. So unless you're part of a big organized league, I'm not sure how you can pull that off. So these are the 2 ways you can use your legend characters. Today we will take a look at Legends PvE. And if you want to have legend characters, there are 2 options to be able to get those. The first option would be from the marketplace, but in the marketplace, obviously, you have to purchase them with the actual cash. Although this week, again, the legend characters are on sale, and also there's even a few bundles. Like there's a Lantern Legend bundle. I have to admit, I'm not sure. So you can see it seems to have a Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, and Sinestro. So it's a roughly $5. Although there is also a sale right now, so I'm not sure what the regular price is, but right now it seems to be around $5. There's I'm not sure what that Legend bundle is. So there's a bundle with Green Arrow, Deathstroke, and Wonder Girl. There is a bundle with Supergirl, General Zod, and Lex Luthor. So there's a whole bunch of Legend bundles. But also, if you want to, you could simply purchase the Legends piece by piece. So you can see, you could decide to simply purchase Sandwalker, Atrocitus, and all that good stuff. So the one of the ways to get some of the Legend characters is to buy them from a marketplace. The other option is that if you look in the, let me show you the map so that you can see where we are. So you can see we're pretty much at the very south of the watchtower, and there is this little vendor here where you can actually purchase some legend characters. There's also the very same vendor at the very bottom of the watchtower and the war room, but it's the very same vendor. So here or there, you'll see the same legends. So in order to be able to purchase the legends on this vendor, you have to earn marks of legends. So you'll earn those mark of legends playing Legends PvE or Legends PvP. And you can see some of the legends are fairly inexpensive, like 10 marks of legends for Harley Quinn or Huntress. But as you go there, you'll see more and more expensive legend characters. I'm not sure why they decided that the Kilowog was 85 and the Joker was 70 and the Huntress was 10 marks, but I assume there's some sort of logic behind that. I think the most expensive one is the classic Batman at 150 marks of legends. Let's see, but you can see there's quite a few of them at 100 marks. So you decide, either you purchase them right away in the marketplace. Also, one of the advantages in marketplace is that when you purchase a legend character in the marketplace, it unlocks that legend for every single characters in your account. If you have only one character, it doesn't really matter. But if you're like me, I'm not sure about Nyx, how many characters Nyx has. But if you're like us and you have multiple characters, being able to unlock them on every single character, it might be a good option. If you play a hero character, normally you get Robin by default. Once you reach level 5, I think, you get the Robin Legend character by mail if you play a hero character. If you play an evil villain, you get Harley Quinn. And speaking of villain, we're going to switch on the villain side to show you where the villain vendor is. So we've switched on the evil villain side with our friend Nyx the Black Mask. So you can, let me show you on the map where the vendor is so that you can know exactly. So if we look on the map, you'll see we are right next to the pit, or also right next to the rare style vendor, and it's the very same vendor than the one we saw in the watchtower. Again, the one distinction between heroes and villains is that as a villain, you get Harley Quinn as your first legend character that you can use, and as a hero, you get Robin. I remember way back when, I hated to use Robin, so the very first thing I did in DC Universe Online was to purchase the future Batman character from the marketplace, so that I didn't have to use Robin to play legend matches.
Batman is a lot of fun to use, absolutely. Batman is one of the top individuals when it comes to playing around with your Legends characters. Actually, believe it or not, at one point Robin was considered part of the meta in Legends PvE because he was so strong. And now it's Harley Quinn, so that's kind of funny how you said that future Batman was your go-to person.
Well, I struggled a bit using the staff, like Robin uses the staff as a weapon, and I didn't like using the staff very much, so using martial arts with Batman was, I guess it was better for me.
It's either you like to use your loadout, like the might-based players, or you like to use the weapons, like the martial arts or the staff, like a precision-based player. Interesting, because I remember you saying very clearly that when you like to play on this game, you like to play with the powers.
Well, I do, but the issue is that in Legends, with Legend characters, you run through your power bar very quickly. So I had no choice but to pretty much use the weapon with those characters. Like I would burn through my power, and then would have to use my weapon until I recharged a bit, and then burn through my power. So one of the questions people often ask is about feats. I'll probably have to make a video about the feats, at some point. Like people want me to make videos about how to get each feat. There's thousands of feats, literally, so I don't think that would be possible. But I could make maybe a video talking about the feats, generally speaking. But in the case of Legends PvE, with Legends PvE, there are a truckload of feats. It's one of the things that almost gave people a heart attack at first. People would count the feat, and they would do the math, and they would say, holy crap, it's going to take us like 12 years to get all those feats. But also they were taking that, they weren't taking into account of, even if you're loot locked from the mission, like even if you play the mission and you already got your marks of legends and you're loot locked, you can still run the mission to get the feats. So even if you will not get marks of legends, the mission will still count towards your feat count. So in some cases, like you have to play 50 legend matches, And sometimes you have to play 50 legend matches as a specific character. And there are also feats where you have to match certain characters together. Like there are feats, let's say, where if you have a Batman and someone else has Robin, it will count toward a specific feat.
So today, guys, we're going to do League of Assassins, LPvE, and Multiverse is going to be Batman, and I'm going to be Huntress. So, if Multiverse is looking at his screen right now under LOA, he can see that one of the team-ups that's required is Batman and Huntress. Now there's 3 others that goes with that same area. So there's Robin and Nightwing, Power Girl and Saint Walker, Power Girl and Superman. So if all 4 of those are done, his overall checklist for heroes is completed. Now there's also 4 specifically for villains. And of course there's even within that, there are individual checklists. So you'll see under Checklist Hero 1 that we have 4 characters that you would need to be to complete this feat. Saint Walker, Nightwing, Batman, and Superman. So I always say, if you're working with somebody who already has all their feats, they're already done, and they're just trying to help you, try to pick your team-ups that best correlate to your checklist. Okay, so what do I mean by that? There's a Checklist Hero 1 there for Batman. So Multiverse is going to pick Batman so that not only is he checking off that part of this list, but he's getting his team up too. So that's what we're going to do today.
So you can see here the various team-ups, Batman, Huntress. Here's the checklist Hero 1 for the various team-ups, and the same for villains. So sadly, it requires not only just playing Legends PvE, you pretty much have to coordinate with at least one other guy to be able to get the team-ups you need. And of course, there was also feats for defeating the various bosses. Like you can see here with Legends PvE Declawed, you have to defeat Serpent Claw, Burning Claw, Bolt Claw, and Lion Claw. So you see I have 2 of those. Sadly, those bosses are random, so it's just a matter of replaying the mission over and over and over until you get all the bosses. But yeah, there's so many feats that you need anyway with Legends League of Assassins. You'll play that mission quite a few times in order to get all the feats. And also there are the general Legends PvE feats that we did not even talk about, like complete 50 Legends PvE as any legend characters. So there's quite a lot of feats that you need to complete in order to get all the feats. If you're very let's say motivated, and right now we get 10 times the feat also. So let's say we play here it says complete 50 Legends PvE feat. If we complete one Legends PvE, it'll count for 10. So that's all one way this week that people should be able to complete, maybe not all the feat, although if you're really dedicated, you probably could find a way to complete all the feats. But even if you're not, you should be able to complete at least a whole bunch of them feats.
I have plenty of people whom I work with in the Nick school that I tell them, if you value feats any bit and you're trying to get to a certain rank and skill points, I highly suggest you take advantage of this week. You have to maximize it out. Fully commit yourself to doing this. Times 10, they do not come around often. Maybe once a year, maybe twice. But once, I mean, this is only the 2nd time this has ever been given to us. So take advantage of it. You got to do it.
So if we take a look at the feats in general, you can see for Legends PvE alone, there's 243 feats. So that's quite a few feats. I don't know how many skill points that represents in the end, but again, if skill points are important to you, you will want to complete as many of those feats as you can. So as you can see, our friend Nix started the on-duty menu thingy. So once you go to the on-duty menu, you have to select a legend character. So normally you have access to the legend characters you have purchased, and every week normally they give you access to 1 character for free. But this week, again, they gave people access to almost all the legend characters. In theory, they give people access to all the characters, but there are a couple of characters. There's the Supergirl TV series costume that sadly is no longer available for whatever reason. So if you already have the legend character, that's not an issue. You have access to that character, but everyone else sadly no longer gets access to that character. And the other exception to that is the Batman character that was given when you would pre-order DC Universe Online way back when, even before the game was released. If you did pre-order the game, you would receive the Batman Legend character. And sadly, that was the only way to be able to get that character. The workaround they had at the time is that, as I mentioned, the very first thing I did is that I purchased the future Batman character. So that is how you could still get Batman. You could get Batman, but it was a different skin. It was the future Batman skin, as opposed to to the skin for the collector's edition. And then later on, they added even more Batman characters. Obviously, Batman is a popular character in this universe, in the DC universe period. And even so in DC universe online. So they gave us roughly a handful of Batman characters that we could choose from. So you can see we have the modern Batman, which was pretty much Batman around the very end of the 80s and early 90s. This is pretty much what Batman was like in the comics. They give us the New 52 Batman. They gave us the Dark Knight Batman from the Dark Knight Returns, obviously. And they give us the classic Batman, which is pretty much the Batman we had in the 70s and a good chunk of the 80s. Today, I will choose the classic Batman. So once you're done, you click. It's pretty much like starting any mission in the on-duty menu. Whoever is the leader selects the mission, and everyone then you choose your character, and then everyone selects their ready.
So what I was saying to Multiverse earlier was the right team up has to be created in advance, and I was worried on this character if I had enough currency to be able to have all these characters. If he was going to get me to do a team up and I wouldn't be able to afford it, but I forgot. This week and the previous week, all of the characters are available. Pretty much all the characters are available. So I don't have to worry about that.
So it gives you a chance to be able to try out the characters, decide if you like the character or not, and decide if it might be worth it to purchase the character.
There's also a place where you could queue up where you could practice your character. That's what we call the Legends practice. And there'll be some test dummies in sets of 1 individual, as well as 3 also in a set. And you can test out your powers and you can play around with your movements to see how do you utilize your character to the fullest.
So you can see it's called Legends Practice. Obviously, you can only go there solo, so since there's 2 of us, we won't be able to go there. But it's you go there. There's a few training dummies, and you can test out the powers of your character against those dummies. It's something that we asked for a long time because originally we didn't have that room. So originally we had to learn on the fly. You would go into a legend match very often with a character you had never played before, and then you had to learn how to use that character on the fly during that legend match. It was a bit annoying because if you were not used to that character, it might mean that you were going to lose by default against guys who were experienced with their character. So a lot of people were not too happy about that. So they kept on asking for some ways to be able to practice using their legend characters. What I ended up doing way back when is that actually I would create a clone of that character in DCUO, and that's what I would use to practice. So I would use it to practice the various powers. Obviously, you cannot get exactly the same abilities in some cases, but I would try to create the character as that's pretty much how I created my first Batman character. It was so that I could practice playing Batman without going to a legend match, and then once I was let's say comfortable enough playing that character, then it was much easier to play Batman in legend matches. There's a few quite differences, like the range attack. The animation for the range attack is quite different. I wish we could have those some of those animation on our characters in DCUO, but it's not an option so far. So the mission is just popped.
This is Amanda Waller.
So Multiverse said at the very beginning here, when it came to the feat Declawed, that you cannot predict as to what bosses you're going to get. Well, actually you can. The bosses that you see here before you, these 4 bosses that you're going to see right now, you can control which of the bosses you're going to get. The 2 bosses that you don't kill will essentially be your bosses. The bosses that you do kill, they will just show up at the end. Ah, what a classic message in LPvE in general.
Oh yeah.
Skip ads. That's a very classic message to see when you're doing LPvE.
Sadly, there's a lot of players who try to skip ads, and they don't do a very good job at it. They end up pulling all the ads instead of skipping them. We'll see how it works out. And also the mission, is this pretty much the same mission that you have in the on-duty menu? The only distinction is that instead of playing it with your character, it's with the legend characters. Nah, I got too late. So here you have to click the thingy here, assuming it does trigger at some point. Oh, I guessed. I did not need to click the clicky.
Neither did I.
You defeated the others, but I shall never fall.
Try again for me.
And a plethora of ads for us to beat up. Yes, indeed.
So sadly, often that's what happens. People want to skip the ads, but they end up pulling them.
My nearest touch is death.
Everybody wants the quick answer.
My nearest
Everybody wants to get out as fast as they possibly can.
This is what you get when rage meets will.
Might be a point in time that I might be able to do some videos for you guys going over all the various tips and tricks if you want to be an expert on these various maps. There are certain things of what certain groups do in order to be as effective as what you can so that you're in and out of there without having to stay too long.
And there are some enemies like this one that you have to do in stages. It's sad, but that cannot really be helped.
That's your best shot.
So sometimes you cannot just burn through the enemy. You have to burn through the enemy a bit, then wait or trigger some animation, then burn through the enemy a bit, trigger some animation, or trigger some event. It's not necessarily some animation.
Are you really that dumb?
My nearest touch is death.
Batter up.
And as you can see in my loadout, there's a little bit of an issue. Basically, what you don't see is the cola. You see it when I actually trigger it. Otherwise, you don't really see it. And there's also the breakout, the trinket that you don't see in my loadout.
Students of death, protect the sacred temple.
Doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter if you don't see it, as long as you know you can use it.
Better than you have failed
Right,
to
just because it's
defeat
not
me.
there doesn't mean that it's not actually available.
And here there's a little fun bit. I don't know if we should do it. Basically, you can have waves and waves, but also if you normally, let's try it out. Oh yeah, if you fall into the green goo, you get turned into a zombie.
Show them all the price of failure.
If you want to cleanse that, you come over to this spot over here. And you're turned right back to normal.
Once the best, always the best.
Nah, I had fun being a zombie.
If you don't like your character as to what it is, and you like being a brawler-like character, then, I mean, by all means, be a zombie. It doesn't last long, though.
And you'll see there's various briefings and investigations. I'm not sure if it's the same as the regular map. You can see our friends are trying to skip the mobs again, but you can see they started running after them a bit. That's my bad.
autographs later.
You're in my sight.
Ain't that something?
By the glory of Gaia.
You're going down. That's your best shot? Is that all you got? This is what you get when rage meets will.
That's such a classic power to use for Batman.
Oh yeah.
That spam move right there.
Party time.
Also, that Serpent Claw, you see, we put some poison in some places, so you don't want to stick around when there's poison. So the easy fix is to just range him.
Are you really
Also, it's one of the few times you can actually use that ability. It's one of the few abilities that Legend characters have that we don't have as a player.
I am impressed. Few who confront the League of Assassins survive. Just beyond here, my father begins his right to drown the earth in death. I cannot oppose him.
fire of
So you can see
death
Wonder Woman
tonight?
pulled all the ads this time.
Soon the waters of purity will rise to burn away the taint of this polluted planet. Rise from the waters, claws of the demon. Rise,
Actually, I think I did.
Is it you?
purified with the
Well, I
fire
could have
Yeah,
sworn they were
you'll
after Wonder
notice.
Woman. Okay. I'll never
There's like-
forgive you.
There's like 40 of them on me right now.
Okay. So you can try to use abilities like Distract to try to lose the aggro. Let's see. Oh, Wonder Woman is in waiting.
Yeah, that's Legends for you. People who are, they don't want to be doing the scenic route. They don't want to be looking around the map. It's business.
Gods, grant me strength.
Ain't that something, Batman?
So ideally what we would do is that we would defeat like one of the ninjas on the side. We would try to pull him on the side, defeat one ninja, then try to pull the other ninja, and then save Ra's al Ghul for last. No, that's not gonna happen today.
By the gods.
And ideally, you don't want to burn Ra's al Ghul too quickly because there's two stages to fighting Ra's al Ghul. At some point, he transforms into another form. So sadly, I've seen too often this mission being glitched because people would burn Ra's al Ghul too quickly. So the trigger wouldn't happen for him to transform.
Never get the best of me.
Let's hope we get lucky today. We didn't burn him too quick, so we should be okay.
To earn my respect. A pity you oppose me, who only wishes the best of humanity to prevail. But you cannot prevent the waters from rising. For the final catalyst.
I love this
is
classic
my
Batman
own
character.
blood. No! The water of purity. It fights the Lazarus effects within me. It seeks to destroy its own master. You shall be
Nyx is doing the happy dance.
Behave yourself.
party time. You'll never get the best of you. Once the best, always the best. This is what you get when rage meets will. Not bad.
So as you can see, we got defeat
And
for
zero.
Batman and Huntress.
And there you have it. is essentially the LPV.
And then you can see all the mobs rushing in. So as you saw,
yes.
it's the very same mission than when we play with our characters from the on-duty menu. Again, the one distinction, we're legend characters. Let's try to clear out the mobs if we can.
So most of the times, if you're in a spam group, as soon as you get past your boss and you get this return to the last location note, yeah, you don't care about anything else that's behind you. You're just trying to push forward.
So this is pretty much how Legends PvE works. So if you guys never tried it out, this week would be a good time to give it a try. It can be a bit frustrating because some missions require coordination, especially at the Gotham Courthouse. So if you get with random players in the Gotham Courthouse, you may be a little bit annoyed. But other than that, it's usually a fun event. Our friend Nix is so tired. I guess we wore him out.
I guess.
So any last words, Mr. Nix?
Yeah, just take advantage of this week. It was a gift to us to be able to do this for an additional week. So if you value skill points, once again, even the slightest, do these team ups. Find somebody on LFG or through your friends list or through your leagues, and work with them at trying to get all your team ups as what you possibly can. Trying to do all the general feats. I mean, if you're very committed and you're willing to put that kind of time and work into it, you can do it. But don't stress yourself. Remember, drink, have some fluids, have some things to eat. You need to sleep properly. You think that's kind of a crazy concept, but I do have to remind people of the basics of what you need to do. Other than that, don't be a hero.
So again, for Legends PvE, you can see there's no shortage of feats, just for the general feats, but also each map has its own list of feats. So if you want to, you could be busy at least for quite a bit playing those for those various feats. So that's going to be pretty much it for now, guys. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and we will see you guys next time.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
guys.
If you have any questions, feel free to ask so in the comment section down below, and I'll see what I can do about answering your questions. I have roughly 2,000 videos about this Universe Online at this point, so if I don't answer your question right away, just search in my videos. Odds are I already made a video that answers your question. Or click one of the videos that you see on your screen right now. Bye-bye.